Australia, a land of countless majestic natural landscapes, like perfect art paintings bestowed by nature. Surely you are cherishing a journey to the beautiful Kangaroo Country, a place that contains countless wonders and questions about nature, culture, people, and history here. Australia's Aboriginal heritage, dating back over 60,000 years, adds depth and meaning to its cultural identity, reflected in sacred sites like Uluru and Kakadu National Park. The landscapes here are a masterpiece, from golden beaches and turquoise reefs to vast deserts and lush rainforests. The Great Barrier Reef, one of the world's natural wonders, offers a kaleidoscope of marine life beneath crystal-clear waters. Meanwhile, the rugged outback stretches endlessly, revealing the wild heart of Australia in its red sands and star-filled skies. Australians themselves are known for their warmth, laid-back attitude, and adventurous spirit that makes every traveler feel welcome. The country's cuisine, inspired by multicultural influences, tempts the palate with fresh seafood, juicy barbecues, and award-winning wines. The largest rainforest in Australia, the Daintree Rainforest, is over 1,200 square kilometers and is home to many animal and plant species not found anywhere else in the world. The Daintree Rainforest, located in tropical North Queensland, Australia, is over 135 million years old, making it the oldest rainforest in the world. Visit Mossman Gorge, experience a croc cruise on the Daintree River, cross the river on the ferry, and travel to Cape Tribulation. Taking a cruise on the Daintree River, located north of Port Douglas, gives you an intimate rainforest experience with the flora and fauna in this World Heritage protected region. The Daintree Rainforest is one of the largest in Australia and one of the oldest rainforests in the world, estimated at over 135 million years old. Stretching over 1,200 square hectares, you will find animal and plant species that call the Daintree home, not found anywhere else in the world. The idiot tree is definitely worth a mention, not just because of its name, but because it is one of Australia's oldest plants. These plants can only be naturally found in northeast Australia, and the largest population is located within the Daintree. The idiot tree has seeds which are the size of a human fist, and fossilized remains date back around 120 million years. The Daintree Rainforest is a very significant place for Indigenous Australians, especially the Kuku-Yalanji tribe. They are the traditional owners of the rainforest and have been living in harmony with the Daintree for over 50,000 years. The tribe has spread out from the rainforest and live across Australia, but most of the tribe live around the Mossman River and Gorge. Before moving to the next location, let's play this fun game. In which year did Australia become a federation, uniting its 6 colonies into one nation? Bito. Sometimes bright bubblegum pink, sometimes lilac, and occasionally even red. The waters of Hutt Lagoon can be an extraordinary sight on the drive between Port Gregory and Kalbarri. Head out before sunset and watch the colors transform. Hutt Lagoon covers roughly 70 square kilometers, with most of the lagoon lying a few meters below sea level. It is separated from the Indian Ocean by a beach barrier ridge and barrier dune system. Similar to Lake McLeod, Hutt Lagoon is fed by marine waters through springs. It's the extremely high level of salinity that gives the lagoon its unusual hue, and its vibrancy changes with the seasons and time of day. The best time to visit is on a clear day, around mid-morning or sunset. There are a number of places to stop and view this natural phenomenon along Port Gregory Road. Visiting on a sunny day is the biggest key to getting the most vibrant colors. We recommend visiting in the middle of the day, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. when the sun is at its highest point and brightest. If there's a few clouds in the sky, don't stress. The reflections on the water actually make for a pretty cool photo. Visit between July and September to see the countryside blanketed in wildflowers. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. The Greater Blue Mountains area consists of 1.03 million hectares of sandstone plateau, escarpments, and gorges dominated by temperate eucalypt forest. The Blue Mountains are said to be millions of years old when the sea completely covered the region. Large clumps of residue dropped into the seawater to cover the floor, eventually compressing into hard sandstone and shale rocks. Once the water began to lower, the large rocks created an uneven stretch of land. The sandstone and shale were left to erosion by water, wind, and volcanic eruptions, slowly forming the familiar mountains, rock formations, and canyons seen today. The entire formation took around 250 million years to complete. The site, comprised of 8 protected areas, is noted for its representation of the evolutionary adaptation and diversification of the eucalypts in post-Gondwana isolation. 91 eucalypt taxa occur within the Greater Blue Mountains area, which is also outstanding for its exceptional expression of the structural and ecological diversity of the eucalypts. Many find the name Blue Mountains strange for a green mountain region, but it is, in fact, quite fitting. Due to the particular trees found in the mountains, the eucalyptus. A unique feature of the eucalyptus is the oil found within its leaves. When the sun is particularly hot, the temperature causes the oil to be released from the leaves in a hazy mist. We are not sure if this information is correct. If anyone knows, please confirm it for us. Discover Wallaman Falls, Australia's highest permanent single-drop waterfall, in Girrawong National Park, west of Ingham. Surrounded by wet tropics World Heritage Area rainforest, Stony Creek plunges 268 meters in a clear single drop, often through a rainbow-fringed mist. Gaze at Wallaman Falls. From Wallaman Falls Lookout, then follow the Jinda Walk to Herbert River Valley Lookout, which provides stunning views of the gorge. Continue on the 3.2-kilometer return. Jinda walk down to the viewing platform at the base of the falls. Be prepared for a steep descent and ascent on unstable surfaces. A moderate level of fitness is required. Once you reach the bottom, you're rewarded with a spectacular viewpoint of Wallaman Falls. You may even take a dip in the 20-meter deep pool at the base, but use caution especially during wet season as water flow can be strong. Camping the night before is recommended if you plan to hike down early. Bring plenty of water and be ready for a steep climb on the return. Around the world, national parks have been created to preserve truly magical places, and there's no doubt Freycinet National Park has a magic all its own. The park is best known for the stunning beauty of Wineglass Bay. Its crystal-clear waters and curvaceous white beach are among Tasmania's most celebrated views. The diversity in the coastal landscape is dramatic, with rocky coves and surging surf around one corner, and sheltered bays and sandy beaches around the next. The quoll, a predator once found across Australia, now mainly inhabits Tasmania. Freycinet offers coastal and mountain walking tracks to suit most capabilities, including some of Tasmania's great short walks. Only accessible by foot or boat, crescent-shaped Wineglass Bay is a constant on the world's most beautiful beaches lists. Tackle the 90-minute return hike to the spectacular lookout, or continue on to complete the 5-hour circuit past Hazards Beach. Intrepid travelers can sign up for a 4-day guided walk that covers the entire length of the peninsula, returning each night to the friendly beaches lodge for gourmet meals, a hot bath, and well-deserved rest. Would you like to stay overnight here? One of Australia's most remarkable natural gifts, the Great Barrier Reef is blessed with the breathtaking beauty of the world's largest coral reef. The reef contains an abundance of marine life and comprises of over 3,000 individual reef systems and coral cays, and literally hundreds of picturesque tropical islands with some of the world's most beautiful sun-soaked golden beaches. Because of its natural beauty, the Great Barrier Reef has become one of the world's most sought-after tourist destinations. Millions of people visit the reef every year. Another 1 million people are lucky enough to live in the region. The reef is part of Australia's national identity. It is inextricably linked to the heritage of Australia's First Nations peoples, the oldest continuous culture on Earth. The reef was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1981. It was inscribed for its unique natural attributes and enormous scientific and environmental importance. It is one of 29 natural marine properties on the World Heritage List that contain coral reef systems. Climate change is the greatest threat to coral reefs worldwide. It requires global action. The reef is one of the best managed World Heritage properties. Australia has a strong planning and investment framework in place to address key threats for the reef. Australia works constructively and closely with UNESCO and IUCN to protect the outstanding universal value of the reef and all our World Heritage properties. The outstanding universal value of the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area remains intact. Located at the southern gateway to Australia's Coral Coast, along the Indian Ocean Drive, the Pinnacles Desert of Nambung National Park is one of the major natural attractions in the region. The park is located roughly 200 kilometers, or 2 hours drive north of Perth, and covers an area of 17,487 hectares, providing natural habitat for an extensive array of native animals and bird life. So, how did the Pinnacles form? Around 500,000 years ago, shallow seas covered the area filled with seashells. Then, around 25,000 to 30,000 years ago, the sea receded, and the shells were broken down into sand that was blown inland to form sand dunes. Over time, the wind and rain eroded the sand dunes, exposing the limestone underneath and shaping the stunning pinnacles we see today. These natural structures jut out of the sand throughout the desert, some reaching up to 4 meters in height. The pinnacles were mistaken for the ruins of an ancient city by Dutch sailors off the coast in 1700. The Pinnacles Desert has been featured in several movies, including the Australian film Australia and the Korean thriller A Million. In summer, it gets extremely hot in the Pinnacles Desert, sometimes topping 40 degrees Celsius, hot enough to fry an egg. If you don't have a car or prefer not to drive, you can book a tour from Perth to the Pinnacles. These tours usually include transportation, a guided tour of the Pinnacles Desert, and sometimes visits to nearby attractions. Who has been here? Comment number 9. Who has never been here? Comment number 0. There's an unmistakable sanctity about Kangaroo Island. It feels sheltered from the modern world, a time capsule of Australiana resting peacefully off our coastline. From the locals who raise their finger and nod their head as they drive past, in a gesture of hello. The fishermen sitting next to you at the bakery, their hands weathered and cracked by decades of salt and sun. The smell of sunscreen and the sound of easy laughter. It is a scene so pristine that it calls on you in ways you don't expect. It asks you to tread lighter, to leave no trace and protect what is pristine. Experience this sanctuary for yourself year-round by boarding a flight or ferry, or join a tour with a local who calls this place home. Visitors looking to get up close and personal with Australia's iconic creatures, koalas, kangaroos, and wallabies, can take a visit to Kangaroo Island Wildlife Park. The park is home to over 150 species of native Australian wildlife, and you'll have the chance to cuddle a koala bear, witness penguin and pelican feedings, hold a snake, or book a private reptile session. Those looking to simply enjoy the weather and relax will appreciate the pristine delights of Vivone Bay. Renowned for being one of Australia's top beaches, Vivone Bay is located on the island's southern coast. Here you can sunbathe, try fishing, relax with a book, or perhaps take a stroll. Swimming isn't recommended here, however, due to strong currents and cold water. The island's north coast beaches, such as Emu Bay and Stokes Bay, are well worth a visit and are recommended for swimming. Located 240 kilometers east of Darwin, in Australia's tropical north, Kakadu is one of the largest national parks in Australia. Kakadu covers almost 20,000 square kilometers and is a place of enormous ecological and biological diversity. It extends from the coast and estuaries in the north, through floodplains, billabongs and lowlands, to rocky ridges and stone country in the south. These landscapes are home to a range of rare and endemic plants and animals, including more than 1/3 of Australia's bird species and 1/4 of its freshwater and estuarine fish species. Kakadu is considered a living cultural landscape. The traditional owners, Bininj Mungai, have lived on and cared for this country for more than 50,000 years. Their deep spiritual connection to the land dates back to the creation and has always been an important part of the Kakadu story. It is Australia's largest national park, but it isn't just the size that astounds visitors. It is the sense of something very old and grand. Creation of the 500-kilometer escarpment began 2 billion years ago, when layers of sandstone built up a plateau to later be carved into an escarpment and scoured by gorges. Today, those gorges are brimming with rainforests, washed by waterfalls. "1,000 species of flora, 30 mammals, 75 reptiles, 1,500 butterflies and moths, 50 freshwater fish, and 25 species of frog have been discovered in Kakadu." During the lush green season, Kakadu's flora puts on its most brilliant face. Between December and March, visitors will see plants respond to the monsoonal showers with riotous growth. Elephant Rocks and Elephant Cove lie nestled in the heart of the William Bay National Park. Elephant Rocks is a breathtaking display of nature's artistry, resembling a majestic herd of elephants gracefully wading in the gentle waters of the Great Southern Ocean. These massive cracked oval boulders stand proudly, gazing out upon the vast expanse of the ocean. Elephant Cove is accessed via a staircase which descends between the rocks and ends in a beach crevasse, allowing you to walk onto the beach. Elephant Cove has a sacred feel to it, perhaps because it is rumored to have been an Aboriginal birthing place over the centuries. Many visitors to the region say that visiting Elephant Cove was a highlight of their view to the Rainbow Coast. Remember, the Great Southern Ocean coastline is prone to surges, so be extremely aware when climbing or walking close to the waterline. The beach at Green's Pool is protected by the lines of rocks out to sea and are a perfect place to swim. Be careful if swimming at Elephant Cove. The waves can be larger and there is a rip. Follow the track west a few hundred yards to Green's Pool and swim. Access to Elephant Cove is down a well-kept wooden staircase and through the stone crevasse. If you've never planned to visit South Australia's Eyre Peninsula, add it to your list of Australian adventures to take. This triangular chunk of land pointing towards Antarctica, to the east of the Great Australian Bight, is about to be on everyone's list. The ocean temperature might be fresh, but when you're visiting this peninsula, you need to get in, or on, the water. It's a haven for marine life, and boat tours leave regularly from various ports, particularly Port Lincoln. Expect to encounter dolphins, fantastical leafy sea dragons, giant cuttlefish and sea lions, and even take a swimming tour with the latter. And if you're looking to tick off a bucket list item, Port Lincoln is the only place in Australia where you can cage dive with great white sharks. The Eyre Peninsula boasts a Mediterranean climate, which means that it is pretty dry and pleasant for most of the year. For the best Eyre Peninsula weather, you should go between December and February, when you'll be blessed with lots of sunshine, hardly any rain, and pretty clear skies. However, this does coincide with the busy time of the year in terms of tourism and peak rates for hotels. So you might prefer to go between March and April, or in November, when the temperatures are perfectly lovely and there are far less people about. Best known for its world-class seafood, you can treat yourself to oysters, prawns, and fresh fish straight from the ocean, more often than not at venues that showcase magnificent coastal views too. If you can, try and visit the 1802 Oyster Bar, which directly overlooks Coffin Bay. There, you can have oysters dished up in 7 different ways, including with smoked butter. Which, take it from me, is sensational. Esperance, your portal to an iconic Australian holiday. Lay down a towel on the whitest sand you may ever experience and watch kangaroos laze on the shore at Lucky Bay, or charter a course among the untouched islands of the Recherche archipelago. It's a beachside beauty spot where coastal parks await discovery, and relaxation is the order of the day. Prepare for an outdoor adventure surrounded by stunning seascapes. A 1.5-hour flight or an 8-hour drive south from Perth, Esperance instantly dazzles visitors with its pristine sandy stretch and turquoise waters. Head to Lucky Bay and sink into what is officially Australia's whitest sand, with a bunch of friendly kangaroos for company. Regularly spotted sunning themselves on the squeaky clean shore, the kangaroos are just some of the wildlife who call sprawling Cape Le Grand National Park home. Tackle all or a section of the park's 20-kilometer hiking trail and spot hermit crabs, starfish, seals, and dolphins along the coast. Enjoy an unforgettable sunrise or sunset experience as you view the Recherche Archipelago's 110 sun-kissed islands from the summit of Frenchman's Peak. Across the water, Hellfire Bay's high dunes make for an idyllic picnic spot. All of its holiday units and chalets have reverse cycle air conditioning and are perfect for both couples and families looking for a comfortable stay in Esperance. The park offers dog-friendly powered and unpowered sites with a choice of grass or hard slabs. The park has free Wi-Fi, playground, BBQ area, laundry, and clean amenities. Everything you need for a perfect beach holiday. It's teeming with life and diverse habitats, from rainforest and eucalypts to mangroves, beaches, and rocky headlands. Cape Hillsborough National Park is one of the most ruggedly beautiful parks on the central Queensland coast. It's a brilliant place to hike, camp, boat, fish, relax, and explore. All the volcanic strata seen on the hillsides are clearly sloping to the south, suggesting we are now seeing only the southern flank of the volcano, the northern part of which has been eroded away. Some of the older rocks on which the volcano rests can be seen on the tidal causeway linking Wedge Island. They are impure limestones with shell fragments that accumulated in a narrow, elongate freshwater basin between 65 and 55 million years ago. You'll need a few days to fully appreciate this magical part of the world, so make Smalley's beach camping area your home away from home. It's just a stone's throw from the beach and walking tracks. Australia's most famous natural landmark has two names, Uluru and Ayers Rock. So, which one is correct? The rock was called Uluru a long time before Europeans arrived in Australia. The word is a proper noun from the Pitjantjatjara language and doesn't have an English translation. In 1873, the explorer William Gosse became the first non-Aboriginal person to see Uluru. He named it Ayers Rock after Sir Henry Ayers, the Chief Secretary of South Australia at the time. Ayers Rock was the most widely used name until 1993, when the rock was officially renamed Ayers Rock/Uluru, the first feature in the Northern Territory to be given dual names. In 2002, these names were reversed at the request of the Regional Tourism Association in Alice Springs, and the rock took on the official name of Uluru, or Ayers Rock, which it still has today. Despite its remote location, some 462 kilometers from Alice Springs, Ayers Rock continues to attract tourists, and for good reason. There's simply no other geological feature like it anywhere in the world. Seeing it change several hues of terracotta and crimson as the sun sets over the tribal lands of the Pitjantjatjara is an unforgettable experience. Awaking in the morning to see the lights switched on as the bold outback sun illuminates Uluru is certainly spiritual. Since the park was listed as a World Heritage Site, annual visitor numbers rose to over 400,000 visitors by 2000. Increased tourism provides regional and national economic benefits. It also presents an ongoing challenge to balance conservation of cultural values and visitor needs. Tuck yourself away in front of an open fire in the Yarra Valley to indulge in life's great pleasures of food, wine, spectacular scenery, and inspiring arts. Place yourself in the spot where Victorian wine growing started and pay homage to the grape at the cellar doors of winemaking institutions, or discover exciting new gems. Sample the wines and stay around for a tour, and linger over a meal as you discover the regional passion for food, with fresh local produce matched to the wines in vineyard restaurants. Travel through rolling hills strung with vines, secluded natural valleys set against blue mountain backdrops, and lush greenery and pastures, past towering trees and pristine rivers to verdant villages like Warburton. Dine in style and marvel at the profundity of fresh local produce at tables in Healesville and Yarra Glen. For a fresh and exciting view of the valley, take to the dawn skies in a hot air balloon before descending into a vineyard to enjoy a breakfast of sparkling wine and just-picked produce. See how artists both local and international have perceived the surrounds at Tarawara Museum of Art or at small artist studios dotted around the region. The Yarra Valley may only be under an hour from Melbourne, but you'll be rewarded for taking a few days to get to know it. Stay a night or two in a chic boutique B&B, self-contained cottage, winery retreat, or five-star luxury. Its proximity to the urban center and high-profile wineries has made it an important destination for enotourism, receiving over 3.1 million visitors in 2011. Fingal was named by early explorers for its likeness with an outcrop of the same name in Northern Ireland, the UNESCO Giant's Causeway World Heritage Site. The Tweed's very own Giant's Causeway at Fingal Head is a must-see and was formed by hot lava flows, which formed massive rock pillars as they reached the cool sea. It is a distinctive volcanic headland of rectangular basalt columns, formed as lava flowed toward the ocean 23 million years ago. In tranquil Fingal, you'll also find fun surf breaks, laid-back fishing spots, chilled eateries, and an abundance of beach view places to stay. Home to Fingal Head Lighthouse, which was erected in 1872 of stone and painted white. The tower had a fixed white light of 1,000 candelas. Although the light tower is not high, it is built on the low headland. The light is effective, as it is built on one of the most easterly points of Australia, with plenty of deep water offshore. It's regularly patrolled during the summer months, and swimmers are advised to always swim between the flags. Walk around to the headland, which is an incredible basalt rock formation formed by lava flows more than 20 million years ago. Around 600 meters offshore is Cook Island, which sits in a protected marine reserve and is a great place for snorkeling. Look out for groupers, trevally, surgeonfish, and parrotfish. Six kilometers south of Norfolk is Phillip Island, part of the Norfolk Island National Park, and a refuge for threatened and migratory species. Every year, thousands of migratory seabirds breed on Phillip Island, including masked boobies, black-winged petrels, sooty terns, and black noddies. Phillip Island is a listed place on the Commonwealth Heritage List, recognizing that it provides a nesting habitat for seabirds, habitat for flora and fauna once considered to be extinct on nearby Norfolk Island, and for its dramatic landscape. The gradual recovery of vegetation on Phillip Island, following the eradication of feral rabbits in 1986, is a unique example of nature's capacity to restore balance to ecosystems under stress. Norfolk Island National Park staff continue to support weed removal and habitat restoration on Phillip Island. As you first cross into the island, you'll spot the curve of Cape Wallaman, a sweep of golden beach set against ancient pink granite cliffs. Wallaman Surf Beach is one of the state of Victoria's most popular surfing beaches, with large curling waves attracting keen surfers. If you're not one to pick up a surfboard, the barreling waves are mesmerizing enough to simply gaze at from a soft spot of sand. As the sun begins to set, the sands of Summerland Beach become a stretch of red carpet. Crowds gather to catch a glimpse of the Phillip Island famous. Out of the rolling curls of waves come forth hundreds of tiny tuxedoed penguins, waddling back home to their burrows in the beach. The miniature size of these little penguins is cuteness overload. They grow to an average of 13 inches, though some may seem as small as the palm of your hand. Keep River National Park is one of the smaller national parks in the Northern Territory, but its sandstone formations, boab trees, and remote sweeping landscapes make it one of the most beautiful. Here's where to hike and camp through Keep River National Park. Keep River National Park is a 5-hour 15-minute drive from Katherine and a 55-minute drive from Kununurra along the Victoria Highway. All roads in the park are unsealed and corrugated with a few soft sandy stretches too. However, if you're visiting during the wet season, road closures are possible. So, it's best to call ahead and check road conditions before you go. Once you've gained a bit of elevation and passed a picture-frame-perfect rock formation, the whole park opens up around you with sweeping views across to an escarpment in the distance, and a city of those honeycomb sandstone formations reminiscent of the Bungle Bungles. Another great thing about Keep River, the opportunity to relax in nature once the walks are done. We enjoyed birdwatching at the pretty Currumbin while having a picnic lunch. Many egrets, cormorants, and herons were enjoying a splash. Ensure you include Keep River National Park in your next Northern Territory holiday. You won't be disappointed. Welcome to K'gari, the world's largest sand island. Translated to paradise by the traditional owners of the land, the Butchulla people, K'gari is a World Heritage listed wonder of diverse landscapes and unique wildlife experiences. Located just 360 kilometers north of Queensland's capital city, Brisbane, and just a short 40-minute ferry ride from the mainland here in Hervey Bay. Built over hundreds of thousands of years, beyond K'gari's ancient sand dunes and long stretches of beautiful beaches, boasts crystal-clear freshwater lakes and creeks, lush rainforests, and an abundance of native flora and fauna to explore. Fraser Island offers camping, cabin, and resort-style accommodation, to suit all types of holiday makers. Eco-adventures on the island include cruises discovering the untouched beauty of the remote western side, a 90-kilometer Great Walk adventure, and guided or self-drive tours. Love a good off-road trip? Cruise the length of 75-Mile Beach, where the Mahano shipwreck rusts into the sand. Colored cliffs dazzle at the pinnacles, and champagne pools fizz like a natural spa. Float down Eli Creek with your sunnies on and worries off, or hike inland to the pure, rain-filled Lake Mackenzie. Looking for something few others get to see? Join a tour to Kagari's remote west coast, where still waters mirror the sky and wildlife sightings are next level. From July to November, this is Humpback Whale HQ, where they rest and play with their calves in the calm waters of Hervey Bay. Whether you're camping under the stars, drifting through rainforest creeks, or learning stories older than the sand beneath your feet, Kagari will leave its mark. The kind that stays with you long after the sand's washed off. Few cities can equal Hobart for the natural magnificence of its backdrop, with Mount Wellington towering 1,271 meters above the city. That's almost 200 meters taller than the famed Table Mountain in Cape Town. For Hobartians, the mountain is part of daily life, a place to walk, ride mountain bikes, play in the winter snow, and feel the reviving touch of nature. Just a half-hour drive from the city center. It's fair to say the city is dominated by Mount Wellington. Stand almost anywhere in Hobart, and you'll see its forested flanks. Much of the mountain is covered by Wellington Park Reserve, with the Organ Pipes escarpment running like ribs across the slopes, and trails threading across the mountain. Mount Wellington, dually named as Kunanyi in the indigenous Tasmanian language of Palawakani, towers over the city of Hobart in southern Tasmania. The mountain is a commanding presence, dominating the local skyline, and giving Hobart an iconic image for many around the world to recognize. The distinctive dolerite columns, known as the Organ Pipes, create a distinctive shape to the face of the mountain, making it impossible to visit Hobart and not be awestruck by Kunanyi/Mount Wellington. The vistas from the summit make a trip up the mountain a must-do when visiting the capital city. A visit to Mount Wellington is a must for those interested in nature and wilderness. The mountains truly shows how diverse Tasmania can be, with changes to flora within a few hundred meters, ranging from temperate rainforest to tundra. For adventurers, Mount Wellington is a wonderland of options, with hiking, mountain bike riding, and rock climbing popular activities. Known as the Village in the Rainforest, just 25 kilometers northwest of Cairns, Kuranda is a vibrant village nestled in the World Heritage listed wet tropics rainforest. Renowned for its colorful charm, Kuranda offers daily market and a quaint main street filled with unique shops, galleries, and local crafts. It's the arts and crafts hub of tropical North Queensland, drawing visitors from around the globe. The village is easily accessible via the iconic Skyrail Rainforest Cableway or the Kuranda Scenic Railway, making it a must-visit destination. Its cool mountain climate is perfect for exploring lush rainforest trails along the Barron River or meandering through the village, where giant fig trees provide a haven for fig birds, parrots, and other vibrant wildlife. Nature enthusiasts can venture to Barron Gorge National Park, offering breathtaking views and walks, ranging from short strolls to more challenging hikes. Wallaman Falls, a spectacular waterfall driving a hydroelectric station, is a highlight reachable by a scenic drive or shuttle bus through verdant rainforest. Kuranda also provides enriching cultural experiences, from galleries featuring Indigenous art to opportunities to learn about Aboriginal heritage, or try playing the didgeridoo. Families and wildlife lovers will enjoy the interactive exhibits, showcasing butterflies, birds, koalas, bats, and more, offering unforgettable encounters with Australia's unique creatures. Getting to Kuranda is an adventure in itself. Choose from a picturesque drive through winding mountain roads, a breathtaking ride on the Skyrail Rainforest Cableway, or a nostalgic journey aboard the Kuranda Scenic Railway. Each route offers stunning views of the rainforest, waterfalls, and gorges, setting the stage for your Kuranda adventure. Barossa is a name synonymous with world-class wine. Characterized by its luscious rolling countryside, dotted with charming stone churches, This compact region is home to many of Australia's most renowned and historic wineries, including Penfolds, Henschke, and Seppeltsfield. However, the Barossa Valley is more than just an idyllic place to drink, dine, and unwind. Just under an hour's drive northeast of Adelaide City, the Barossa boasts fantastic farm gates, gorgeous goldfield trails, and luxurious lodges for when you've had a glass too many. The Barossa Valley is undoubtedly one of the world's great wine regions, and the cream of the crop when it comes to Australia's wine scene. With scorching hot summers, cool winters, and mineral-rich soils, it's the perfect environment for producing big, beefy red wines. Shiraz is the local hero, with some mighty fine Rieslings emerging from the slightly higher, slightly cooler Eden Valley subregion just over the rise. You're spoiled with more than 150 wineries in the Barossa, plus 80+ cellar doors, including the iconic Penfolds, Henschke, and Jacobs Creek. You could spend weeks going between them sipping fine wines all day long, but that's probably not entirely sensible. Although the region specializes in many different wines, those based on Shiraz have received the most acclaim locally and internationally. The best wines have a reputation for being rich and extremely full-bodied, with the ability to age for a significant time if cellared correctly. Another unmistakable feature of Barossa Valley Shiraz is the velvety and soft tannins attributed to the grape's phenolic ripeness. Discover a colorful universe of coral gardens and ocean life beneath the crystal-clear waters of World Heritage-listed Ningaloo Reef. Dive, snorkel, or swim Australia's largest fringing reef as whale sharks, humpback whales, and manta rays glide past in a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Wonders abound on land too, with pristine beaches and surf breaks that allow you to tap into your adventurous side or indulge in barefoot luxury. Just under a 13-hour drive north of Perth, the coastal town of Exmouth serves as a gateway to this marine marvel. By plane, it takes approximately 2 hours to get from Perth to Exmouth. As soon as your feet touch the ground, you'll be itching to explore this 300-kilometer-long water world. Whether you wade straight in from the beach or take a glass-bottom boat cruise, fishing trip or eco-adventure tour, Ningaloo Reef is an awe-inspiring marine paradise. Immerse yourself in the turquoise shallows at Cape Range National Park to discover coral gardens in the company of colorful tropical reef fish, and paddle alongside sea turtles, dugongs, manta rays, and reef sharks just off the coast of Coral Bay. From March to August, the reef plays host to whale sharks, offering an unparalleled opportunity to spot and swim with some of the world's biggest marine creatures, while serene humpback whales migrate from August to October. The marine park is undoubtedly the region's drawcard, and for marine enthusiasts, it's somewhat inexhaustible. As a guide, the reef is so large that it can be seen from space. The to-do list is more of a to-meet list. The gentle spotted whale shark is the pinnacle, followed closely by encounters with whales traveling the humpback highway as they cruise past the shore on their annual migration. Even the average snorkeling session will bring you within a fine's distance of vibrant schools of fish and coral. Celebrated for some of the best food experiences in cairns and Great Barrier Reef, in the Atherton Tablelands, an hour from cairns, you'll find an abundance of flavors to try. Visit the many farms to sample homegrown produce, starting with Australia's oldest coffee plantation. Then graze your way through the farmers' markets in Yungaburra, or enjoy a tipple at a distillery. Learn about sustainable and organic farming practices and breathe in the fresh Tablelands air while enjoying a cheese platter for two. Plan your day trip with this guide on where to go. If feeling the mist of a waterfall in the middle of the rainforest spells bliss, look no further than the region's natural swimming spots. In the Atherton Tablelands, the best places to cool off are only a drive away. Take your pick and find natural water slides and freshwater creeks dotted throughout the rainforest, or lakes such as Echam, Tinaroo, or Bareen. Follow the World Heritage Wet Tropics Waterfall Circuit, which includes natural beauties like Milla Milla, Zilly, and Alinja Falls. The northern end of the Atherton Tablelands, as it slopes downhill between Mariba and Mossman, encompasses a broad range of habitats, from dry gum woodland to highland rainforest, open farmland, lowland wetlands, and the coast. This is one of the richest areas for birding in Australia, with over 350 species recorded, including 13 endemics. Several places along the Mareeba-Mossman Road have set up as birdwatchers' retreats and can fill you in on places to improve your tallies. Explore the lush greenery that is Queensland's wet tropics, where the views are magnificent no matter which way you turn. The craggy peaks of the Glasshouse Mountains tower above the surrounding landscape. They are so significant that they are listed on the Queensland National Heritage Register as a landscape of national significance. First Nations peoples skillfully interpreted natural signs, such as flowering trees, to anticipate the availability of seasonal foods and plan communal gatherings accordingly. Large festivals like the Bunya Nut gatherings were held when local food sources were abundant, allowing hundreds or even thousands of people to be sustained with ease. For tens of thousands of years, the Glasshouse Mountains region provided a wealth of resources through its diverse landscapes, including rivers, forests, wetlands, and mountain ecosystems. The Glasshouse Mountains are intrusive plugs, remnants of volcanic activity that occurred approximately 25 to 27 million years ago. Molten rock filled small vents or intruded as bodies beneath the surface and solidified into hard rocks, trachyte and rhyolite. Millions of years of erosion have removed the surrounding exteriors of the volcanic cones and softer sandstone rocks, leaving the magnificent landscape features you see today. Interesting vertical columns that formed as the volcanic mountains cooled can be seen at Mount Beerwah and Mount Ngungun. Walking tracks lead through a variety of open forests to lookouts with panoramic views of the mountains. You can walk around the base of Mount Tibrogargan to see its profile from many angles and to the top of Mount Ngungun for spectacular views of nearby peaks in the surrounding landscape. There are other challenging summit routes and climbing sites for experienced rock climbers and abseilers. Bluff Knoll is the most popular trail in the Stirling Range, with outstanding 360-degree views from the summit. Lookouts surrounding the parking area at the Bluff Knoll trailhead offer spectacular views of Bluff Knoll and other peaks of the Stirling Range. It's worth a visit, even if you're not up to walking the trail to the summit. The lookouts and nearby undercover picnic area and toilets are wheelchair accessible. The walk starts on the southern side of the Bluff Knoll parking and picnic area. The first section of the trail is sealed and easygoing, then turns toward the mountain, and the ascent begins. For a while, it follows a creek directly up the slope before crossing the mountainside, with a more gentle climb to a saddle. Here, you can look over the ridge to the south coast. The trail then turns and follows a ridge to the summit. Eucalypt woodland, banksia, and grass trees blanket the lower slopes, while exposed outcrops reveal historic rock layers, evidence of fine sediments that settled on the bottom of an ancient shallow sea long ago. Prefer to get behind the wheel? Jump into your car to follow the 42-kilometer Stirling Range Drive, which winds through the heart of the park to reveal stunning landscapes at every turn. Pounded by wild seas and fierce winds, the coast of Port Campbell National Park have been sculpted over thousands of years. Towering limestone rock stacks, arches, and islands have been carved out of the soft cliffs by rain, wind, and ocean waves. Many ships have come to grief on the rocky coastline, earning it the title of the Shipwreck Coast. On a coastline known for its spectacular coastal formations, it's easy to spot the impressive London Bridge, Grotto, and the more famous 12 Apostles. Port Campbell National Park is also home to the animals on this barren coastline. At dusk, they return from their offshore foraging grounds. Look at the 12 Apostles, or London Bridge, and see baby penguins. As the beaches and coastline are natural environments, you may encounter dangers. The 130 kilometers part of the coastline was named the Shipwreck Coast, after hundreds of ships wrecked along it mainly in the Gold Rush era in the 1800s. The most well-known shipwreck was in 1878, when the Loch Ard smashed into Mutton Bird Island. On board was some important cargo and over 50 people, including a wealthy doctor, his wife, and 5 children. Also on board was a tough 18-year-old Aussie-born chap named Tom Pierce. They were the only 2 people to survive. Although it would have been handy for them at the time of the shipwreck, there's since been a wooden staircase built that goes down to a beach in the gorge. The town is halfway between Darwin and Adelaide, about 1,500 kilometers each way. Alice Springs is the 3rd largest town in the Northern Territory, with a population of approximately 33,000 people. In the town center, you can get everything you need as there's a variety of shops to stock up on your weekly supplies. As well as cafes and restaurants to explore. Just a short walk from the CBD is the iconic Todd River, a dry riverbed that can flow when rainfall hits. You are considered to be a local when you've seen the Todd River flow 3 times. The town is surrounded by stunning natural beauty, including the McDonnell Ranges and the Red Center Desert. About 450 kilometers down the road is Uluru, a large sandstone rock formation that is a spectacular sight any time of the year. Alice Springs has everything you require, with international standard accommodation at all levels. There are plenty of shops, from air-conditioned plazas to unique boutiques. This area of Australia is part of the territory of the Arrernte people and is known by the local names of Arrende, Yeperenye, or Mparntwe, and is connected with the caterpillar dreaming. The Aboriginal presence in Alice Springs is strong. Their 40,000-year-old culture and spiritual connection to this region echoes in every rock and landmark. They preserve the timeless art, songs and rituals that connect humankind with Australia's legendary creation and prehistory, the Dreamtime. Adorned by rainforest-covered escarpment and the stunning golden beaches of the south coast, New South Wales' 3rd largest city is a fun, vibrant and delicious urban center that offers diverse appeal. Dial up the adventure by going skydiving, playing golf or cycling, or discover beautiful botanic gardens, relaxed cafes and restaurants, and a thriving arts scene. Wollongong, known for its history of coal mining and steel industry, has transformed into a foodie haven, creative community, and outdoor adventure hub. Despite the decline of traditional manufacturing and blue-collar industries, due to the abandonment of protectionist economic policies in the 1980s, many of these industrial installations still exist. The city's economy is recovering through diversification into sectors such as higher education, fine arts, tourism, residential development, and sustainable energy production. Despite this progress, heavy industry remains the city's primary economic foundation and is expected to play a central role for the foreseeable future. Various meanings are given for the Aboriginal word Wollongong, including Seas of the South, Great Feast of Fish, Hard Ground Near Water, Song of the Sea, Sound of the Waves, Many Snakes, and Five Islands. In 2024, the wreck of a coal ship was discovered by accident off the coast of Wollongong. The ship, the SS Nemesis, was sailing from Wollongong to Melbourne and sank nearly 120 years ago. Being a sizable city, there's plenty in Wollongong in the way of accommodation options. You can cozy up in a beach chic B&B and fall asleep to the sound of surf, or hang at a luxe hotel with a view. It is a large barrier river type estuary with an open trained entrance. Nambucca River is situated on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. Along its journey, the Nambucca River is joined by 4 smaller rivers or streams, which are called tributaries. One of the most important tributaries is Taylor's Arm. Taylor's Arm is a major tributary of the Nambucca River, converging just upstream of Maxville, and Warrell Creek flows into the main channel beside the entrance. After flowing for about 87 kilometers, the river reaches its end. It empties into the Tasman Sea, which is part of the Pacific Ocean. This happens at a place called Nambucca Heads. The river drops about 594 meters from its source to the sea. The estuary supports a range of mangrove, salt marsh, and seagrass communities and is a popular site for recreational fishing, boating, and swimming. Commercial oyster farming and fishing also occur in the estuary. The Nambucca River area has a fine subtropical climate, high rainfall, and fertile volcanic soils. It was originally covered by rainforest, much of which has been cleared, although some rainforests remain in several national parks and reserves. The lowlands along the river are used for farming. Shelly Beach is located in Manly and forms part of Cabbage Tree Bay, a protected marine reserve which lies adjacent to North Head and Fairy Bower. With a maximum depth of approximately 12 meters, Shelly Beach has become popular with scuba divers and snorkelers alike, with a large variety of marine life, which can be viewed in relatively shallow water. Take a walk around the bush track, which hugs the headland, offering spectacular views of North Head and the northern beaches. It's a perfect day or half-day expedition from either direction. If you're wanting to pitch a tent and stay overnight, the campground is of the bring everything in, take everything out variety, which includes your drinking water. With rock pools at either end, a small creek, great swimming in sheltered conditions, but be careful, a headland for views, and a few other secret coves, Shelly is really something special. Unpatrolled waters can be unpredictable. Choose patrolled beaches for a safer experience and swim only between the flags. Avoid jumping into unknown water depths or areas with unseen hazards. Be aware of currents, rocks, and sudden drops, and always make sure you're swimming in safe areas to protect yourself and your loved ones. Shelly Beach has showers, toilets, and a cafe, along with 2 free electric barbecues, perfect for that family picnic. For a more formal dining option, there is a cafe on the beach named the Boathouse. Shelly Beach has a pay and display ticketed car park available during daylight hours. Formed deep within the earth, these stone sentinels are silent witnesses to ancient volcanic forces that once reshaped northern New South Wales. They're not classic eruptions, but molten remnants, country rock melted by volcanic heat, forming jagged rhyolite peaks outside the Mount Warning caldera. Standing 20 kilometers from the volcano, the Nimbin Rocks are part of an eroded dike created 20 to 40 million years ago. Their dramatic shapes and volcanic origin set them apart from other formations linked to Mount Warning's main eruption. According to geologists, they represent a byproduct of crustal heating, not a direct product of the volcano's explosive force. To the local Bundjalung people, these towering rocks are sacred, once believed to be home to the Nimbin, or clever men. Camping near them feels like entering a dream, where landscape, legend, and silence mix in poetic solitude. The rocks sit within a horseshoe-shaped valley bordered by Gulmangar Creek, a quiet home to platypuses. The lake is popular with fishermen and recreational activities in summer. Somerset Dam is one of the region's oldest and largest water storages in southeast Queensland. The upper half has a 6-knot speed limit and could be a quieter spot to avoid the summer holiday crowds. It has a narrow profile that is never much more than 1 kilometer wide. The lake is approximately 25 kilometers long, from the dam wall to the head of the lake at Villeneuve, yet has over 150 kilometers of shoreline to explore, excluding the reach of the lake up various tributaries. While it is flatwater paddling, it is a fairly large body of water, so conditions can get rough in stormy or windy weather. Early morning fog can also be an issue. Make sure you have some form of navigation aid and a whistle in these conditions. The dam is nestled in the forested foothills, with farmland around most of the foreshore. The main exception being the coves around Wyangi Creek that are mostly forested apart from the cleared private camping areas. Don't forget to grab your boating and fishing permits before heading out or dropping a line. If you want to stay longer, there are a number of private campgrounds, holiday houses, and retreats close by. Find out more about the accommodation around Lake Somerset at the Kilcoy Visitor Information Centre. The 665-metre-long Seacliff Bridge is a highlight along the Grand Pacific Drive. A drive which takes in 140 kilometres worth of coastal scenery from the Royal National Park, Loftus down to Nauru. The bridge has become an icon to the people of Wollongong and the world, once again welcoming tourists annually to this picturesque coastal road. Opened in December 2005, the Seacliff Bridge offers visitors the chance to get out of the car and stretch their legs. It is also a great viewing platform for migrating whales heading north/south during migrating season. The bridge is unique in that it follows the curving line of the coast, so that each individual segment is different and separate in its own way, as well as having its own specific complexity. The bridge has 2 lanes for motor vehicles, each between 3.5 and 3.8 meters wide, as well as a pedestrian pathway on one side that is 2.3 meters wide. Cyclists can use the side shoulders that are 1.2 meters wide. The Seacliff Bridge is accessible via public transport. Coal Cliff Station has trains running 7 days a week. There is a steep incline from the train station to the bridge. The walk will take approximately 15 minutes from station to bridge. Bus stops are located on either side of the Seacliff Bridge. Premier Illawarra Bus Number 2 provides services Monday to Saturday. Historically, Alexandria Bay has been used unofficially as a clothing optional beach for many years, with locals simply avoiding it in past if it caused offense, as it is a fairly isolated location and was not as well known amongst visitors. As Noosa National Park has grown in popularity, particularly amongst those using the trail networks for exercise, this location has lost some of the isolation of the past, and use has increased. With the coastal track passing by Alexandria Bay, now being utilized by many including families, complaints about indiscreet nudity and reported lewd acts have increased. We are aware over the years of some who wish to see this beach become a legal clothing optional beach, as there are no legalized clothing-free, clothing optional or nudist beaches in Queensland, as well Tasmania. Currently, It is an offense to be on a public beach in these two states without any clothing, with two possible charges in Queensland of willful exposure or public nuisance. It is unpatrolled with no amenities, so make sure you carry in everything you will need for the day, including water. The beach is known for having strong currents, so take a quick dip close to shore, but be aware of the potential dangers. Surfers can enjoy the consistent surf break at the north end of the beach as southeasterly breezes eddy around the headland, but it's a fair trek in and out carrying a board. Located in southern Australia, Melbourne, the capital of Victoria State, is known for many titles such as the most livable city in the world, the leading city in culture, education. This place was founded in 1835 by a group of migrants from Launceston after many decades of development from a small town to the home of more than 5 million people. Melbourne owns magnificent buildings, beautiful landscapes, and ideal climate, so it is a very popular tourist destination in Australia. The city has also always maintained its position in the list of the most livable cities in the world, ranked by the Economist Intelligence Unit from 2002 to present. Federation Square is located in the heart of Melbourne City, between Swanston and Flinders Streets, opposite Flinders Street Station. Eureka Tower is located on the south bank of the city, next to the gentle Yarra River with 91 floors covering the modern beauty, reaching a skyscraper height of 297 meters. Standing on the 88th floor of the tower, you will admire the panoramic view of Melbourne City, without any buildings blocking the view. Autumn and summer are the best times to visit Melbourne. Melbourne warms up in the summer with average temperatures ranging from 14 to 25.3 degrees Celsius, with dry weather, occasionally with heat waves that can last more than 3 days. Autumn has cooler weather with average temperatures ranging from 10.9 to 20.3 degrees Celsius. Heading into the Currumbin Valley is a little like entering an Aladdin's cave of adventure. From the coastline, head southwest into another world along Currumbin Creek Road, which leads to Tomowin Mountain Road, winding up to Tomowin Mountain. At 457 meters high, it offers a great vantage point over the entire valley, as well as north to Mount Talabudgera, and west across the World Heritage-listed rainforest mountains of Kugel and Springbrook. The drive itself into the valley is something special. You'll pass farms, eco-villages, fruit stalls, bed and breakfasts, homesteads, gardens, and cottages. It's easy to see why the descendants of early settlers who came here for the red cedar timber and to raise dairy cattle and farm bananas still call this lush valley home. Highlights of this valley include the cooling Currumbin rock pools for a swim and Camp Eden for the health conscious. Part of the fun is simply driving along the winding country road that is Currumbin Creek Road, breathing in the fresh air and taking in the sights. Hemmed by creeks and streams on each side, the road passes by fields of grazing horses and groves of lush rainforest and rolling green hills dotted with barns, farms, and rambling estates. A couple of farms along the way are open to the public on weekends to buy produce, including Currumbin Valley Harvest, a biodynamic farm where you'll find premium-grade fruit, vegetables, herbs, and organic coffee, plus a cafe overlooking the lush green hills. There's also Freeman's Organic Farm, providing fresh seasonal produce including avocados, pawpaws, custard apples, mangoes, and award-winning bananas. Milla Falls are magnificent waterfalls surrounded by lush rainforest located on the waterfall circuit, along with Zilly and Alinja Falls. The falls cascade perfectly to a pristine waterhole below, where you can enjoy a refreshing swim in the cool water. With a waterfall standing at 18.3 meters tall and a stunning natural amphitheater, it is no surprise that Milla is one of the most photographed waterfalls in Australia, with hundreds of travelers visiting the bucket list destination every day. We recommend packing a swimsuit and picnic rug. The crisp, gleaming waters are the perfect way to cool off in the balmy Cairns temperatures. You can safely swim in Milla Falls. It's actually one of the best freshwater swimming locations near Cairns. With a wide natural swimming hole that remains cool and refreshing even in the tropical heat, Milla Falls is the perfect place to have a picnic, relax, and swim. Just always use a bit of caution when entering the water in case there is any rainforest debris such as rocks or sticks. Best visited after rainfall when the creek is full of water rushing down from above. Wallaman Falls in the Atherton Tablelands is the ideal road trip adventure during the wet season and any time of the year. Once reaching the falls, make sure to keep an eye out for turtles in the creek, platypus at dusk, and the vivid blue Ulysses butterfly above. There's also a lovely grassy picnic area for you to relax. Wallaman Falls are one of the most photographed in all of Australia, so make sure you bring your camera. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of a platypus. A 2-hour drive south of Darwin will find you at this amazing natural wonderland, formed by water and time and bursting with natural attractions, and home to a variety of wildlife. Litchfield National Park is the hidden gem among the top end's many dramatic landscapes. Visit the spectacular Florence Falls and take a swim beneath its tumbling twin torrents, surrounded by the tranquility of the Vine Gully. At Tolmer Falls, you can view the sparkling cascade plunging into a swimming hole bordered by rainforest, home to several colonies of rare ghost bats and orange horseshoe bats. Phone coverage is pretty non-existent. We were surprised at how little coverage there was for all networks. So prepare to get off grid and enjoy your surroundings, as you'll have no choice. You can't really get lost, so don't worry about not having maps. The park is pretty much one road in and out. Bring food and snacks. There are limited facilities in the park, so bring plenty of food, snacks and water with you. We highly recommend packing a picnic. There are some great spots around the park to enjoy lunch. This is a theatre located in Sydney, Australia, with a unique shape that looks like a clam or sails full of wind going out to sea. The Sydney Opera House is a unique architectural work of Sydney in particular and Australia in general, attracting a large number of visitors every year. This typical architectural work of the 20th century still regularly hosts world-famous art, ballet, drama, and music performances. It is located at Bennelong Point in Sydney Harbour, near the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge. At the same time, the theatre is also the headquarters of the Sydney Theatre Company and the Sydney Symphony Orchestra. The Sydney Opera House was built on an area of 1.8 hectares of land, measuring 183 meters long by 120 meters wide, including 580 concrete columns, 25 meters deep below sea level. The roof of the theatre is covered with 1,056 million tiles from Sweden. The special feature of the roof is that it can clean the surface itself, but it still needs regular maintenance and replacement. In addition, the sea breeze can flow into the roof, creating a sense of ventilation for the building. One of the most memorable experiences when visiting the Sydney Opera House is admiring the sunset over Sydney Harbour. When the sun sets, the white tiled roofs of the theatre turn a brilliant orange-yellow. And when the sun sets in the distance, the Sydney sky is now dyed a beautiful purple pink. This is a romantic sunset landscape that you will hardly forget. As one of the least disturbed and least polluted coastal environments on the Queensland and New South Wales coastline, Moreton Island is a haven for nature lovers, snorkelers, and outdoor adventurers alike. Formed over 400,000 years, Moreton Island is made entirely of sand, apart from the rocky headland of Cape Moreton. Known to the Ngugi people as Mogumpin or Morgumpin, aka the place of sand hills, this is the third largest sand island on Earth. A total playground for thrill seekers and nature lovers. This island's a natural theme park minus the queues. The fun comes fast at Tangalooma Island Resort. Quad biking, wreck snorkeling, sandboarding, and that famous wild dolphin feeding every evening. The Tangalooma wrecks are the island's glittering underwater crown. This cluster of 15 sunken ships hosts coral, turtles, and neon fish by the thousands. For something next level, jump on a twilight transparent kayak tour with LED lights glowing beneath you for a mesmerizing after-dark underwater peep show. Ready to cool off? Sink into the Blue Lagoon, where tea tree oil tints the water bronze and gives your skin a natural spa day. Getting here is easy. Hop on a ferry or day tour from Brisbane, or load up the four-wheel drive and go full explorer mode via vehicle ferry. You can camp under the stars, glamp in style at Castaways, or bed down in resort comfort. However you roll, Mulgumpin delivers adventure. With a surface area of 99 square kilometers, this aqua blue waterway is famous for white sands, fishing, boating, and delicious Sydney rock oysters that are the finest in the country. Wallis Lake is the sparkling jewel in the crown that consists of the Great Lakes region in the Barrington Coast. Surrounded by Wollongong National Park on the west and Booty Booty National Park on the east, the pristine waters are fed by the Wallaman River, Coolongaluck River, and Piper's Creek. The lake is approximately 25 kilometers long and 9 kilometers wide. Forster and Tuncurry, twin towns connected by a bridge since 1959, serve as the gateways to Wallis Lake. The lake's clear, clean waters, regular tidal flow, and abundant seagrasses provide an ideal environment for oyster cultivation, with some of the oyster paddocks having been farmed for generations. Home to the happiest animals on Earth, quokkas, Rottnest Island is a holiday haven of pristine beaches, aquamarine bays, bike tracks, and walking trails. The best part, the car-free, conservation-minded Class A reserve is only a 30-minute ferry ride from Fremantle in capital city, Perth, and an unforgettable adventure for every visitor. Whadjuk Noongar people are the original custodians of Wajima, and the island holds a rich and complex history for Aboriginal people across WA. Join an immersive Aboriginal tour or visit the Wajima Museum and connect to the historical, cultural, and spiritual significance of the island. Rottnest's beaches are like a slice of paradise, with blindingly white sand, water so clear you can see down to your toes, and majestic coves formed by naturally sculpted rocks. In all, there are 63 secluded sandy havens, linked by paved riding and walking trails. The main attraction, of course, is the highly photogenic quokka, a friendly marsupial that appears to smile. Not only the subject of countless celebrity selfies, the Western Australian icon is also responsible for the island's name. 17th century Dutch sailors mistook the cute creatures for large rats. Rottnest Island enjoys Mediterranean-style climate, which means it's pleasant and inviting all year round. During the summer, Rottnest Island sees an average temperature of mid-high 20 degrees Celsius. Mount Bruce, or Punarunha, is Western Australia's second highest mountain, boasting one of the country's most scenic walks. It is the second tallest peak in Western Australia at 1,235 meters and lies about 36 kilometers west of the park office. The mountain features 3 distinct walks, each providing different levels of challenge and spectacular views over the surrounding ranges and the nearby Marindu mine. Like a few trails in WA, the full 10.8-kilometer trail is broken up into a few trails that have different names. The smaller one is just lip service to the nearby Marindu mine, and at 500 meters is not really impressive if the end result is a view of the mine scarring this beautiful landscape. Karijini was split in two when this mine was allowed to exist in 1994, which is a big worry for the rest of the state, if they can just do that to a national park. Saved the best for last. This mountain is so much fun. It is a long hike because not only are you gaining a lot of vertical distance, but you are gaining a lot of horizontal distance as well. The climbing section about midway through is definitely the most challenging part of the walk. The views from the top are excellent, truly the best in the state. This slower pace, once the chuckle of Australian city counterparts, has now become an endearing drawcard. Hobart is humming. It's Tasmania's lively capital that retains an old town salty air feel. Boutique hotels are filled to the brim, and visitors are flocking to this harborside city in numbers not seen. What's all the fuss? It's probably because you can have early morning sand between your toes, wander city streets, head to a mountain summit, and be back in time for cocktails on the waterfront. This compact capital is a livable city. A vibrant city. A place where people still say hello, their relaxed pace now on trend in a busy world. Hobart is where the bulk of Tassie locals live. That's good reason to make it your first port of call. It sits at the southern end of the island, on the edge of the River Derwent. It is a port town that dates back to early explorers and convicts sent here for stealing rams. Water runs deep. It's the second deepest port in the world, but also offers a myriad of waterways that please the sailor who has navigated a globe of oceans. Even though December is the beginning of summer in Australia, it never gets too hot in Hobart due to the southern exposure, and we had a little bit of everything in the weather department. It's a perfect-sized city for getting around, and we had time to do so many wonderful things, from museums to hiking and more. Hobart, Tasmania, the most surprising town in Australia. Perth is known as the City of Sunshine, with a mild Mediterranean climate and warm sunshine all year round. To answer the question of which season is best to visit Perth, the most ideal time is in spring and autumn. At this time, the average temperature in Perth is around 15 to 25 degrees Celsius, not too hot or too cold, very suitable for participating in outdoor activities. You can spend time exploring Rottnest Island, home to the rare quokka, or visit the Swan Valley, famous for its fine wines. Elizabeth Quay is a symbol of the modernity and development of Perth City, where the poetic Swan River flows through. Located in the heart of the city, this is where most of the high-rise buildings, Modern shopping centers and bustling entertainment areas are concentrated. Located between Fremantle and Perth, Cottesloe Beach is worthy of being one of the most favorite local beaches in Perth. The long stretch of smooth white sand, clear blue seawater, and beautiful natural scenery have captivated many tourists. When the sunset falls, Cottesloe takes on a completely different beauty. The sunlight dyes the beach golden, creating a romantic and poetic scene. As a coastal city, Perth is proud of its top-notch fresh seafood. Western Australian lobster, crab, tuna, scallops are indispensable ingredients in high-class seafood restaurants. The port city of Fremantle is home to many delicious seafood restaurants and bustling bars to experience fresh seafood. Four years after the arrival of the O'Reilly family in 1911, Lamington National Park was declared, effectively isolating the O'Reillys from the outside world. While Lamington wasn't Queensland's first national park, it is the most significant and was regularly referred to as Queensland's National Park. World Heritage status was bestowed on Lamington in 1994 in recognition of its high biodiversity and the fact it contains a living museum of the evolutionary steps taken in the development of Australia's modern-day flora. It now includes 22,000 hectares of varying forest types, from temperate Antarctic beech forest, high on the border ranges through the subtropical rainforests, to the dry eucalypt forest of the northern escarpment. Lamington National Park provides food and shelter for a huge array of subtropical bird life, over 160 species, reptiles, frogs, mammals, and invertebrates. It is split into two main sections, Green Mountains and Binnaburra, each packed with epic walks and rainforest rewards. But heads up, there's about 60 kilometers of winding road between them, so plan accordingly. With over 160 kilometers of walking trails crisscrossing the park, there's a Lamington National Park hike for every kind of explorer, from casual strollers to hardcore trekkers. Ready to sleep under the stars or under the rafters of a luxury lodge? Lamington National Park accommodation runs the full spectrum from rainforest campsites to five-star tree houses with mountain view spas. Few cities blend ocean charm with urban energy quite like this one, where colonial roots meet global culture on every corner. Sydney, the capital of New South Wales, is Australia's largest and most dynamic city, founded in 1788 as a British colony. Today, it stands as a vibrant multicultural hub known for its historic landmarks and innovative spirit. Port Jackson, often considered the soul of Sydney, hosts everything from thrilling yacht races to lively waterfront festivals. Springtime, from September to November, transforms the city with blooming gardens and golden leaves lining its famous parks. The Sydney Harbour Bridge offers stunning views, especially during sunrise, when the city glows beneath soft golden light. The Rocks district feels like stepping into a storybook, where sandstone buildings and cobbled lanes recall the city's earliest days. Established in 1788, this area balances heritage with modern-day cafes, galleries, and weekend markets. As night falls, Sydney doesn't slow down. Instead, it lights up with cruises, music, and evening tours under the stars. Circular Quay buzzes with energy, and events like Vivid Sydney turn the city into a glowing work of art. Whether it's weekend nightlife or peaceful harbor sunsets, Sydney delivers unforgettable moments from dawn till dusk. When it comes to Australia, we often think of the bustling Sydney Harbour City, or Melbourne, which has been honoured as the most livable city in the world 7 times. Many of you do not know that Canberra is the capital of Australia, the important political and economic centre of this country. Founded in 1913, Canberra's space is meticulously planned to become the political and cultural centre of Australia. The atmosphere here is extremely mild and pleasant all year round, creating perfect conditions for you to explore attractive destinations. Unlike the bustling cities around, Canberra is often quite deserted, quiet and calm at night. With an area of over 800 square kilometers and a population of about 400,000 people, Canberra is the largest capital of Australia and the 8th largest in terms of population. This city was built in the 1900s and was chosen as the capital of Australia in 1913. However, it was not until 1927 that Canberra officially became the capital of Australia. Unlike other major cities in Australia, Canberra does not have a beach or a river running through it. Instead, this city is built on a hilly area. And has a system of beautiful parks and lakes. The climate in Canberra is relatively dry and cool. With an average temperature of 7 degrees Celsius in winter to 27 degrees in summer. Australian beef is known for its excellent quality and is used in many different dishes. In Canberra, visitors can enjoy fresh Australian beef, and it is processed into many attractive dishes, such as steak, grilled, stir-fried or braised. Byron Bay needs little introduction. The balmy, sun-kissed town on the north coast of New South Wales is known as much for its bountiful beaches as its rainforest hinterland, creative community, and innovative food scene. It was once the favored domain of hippies and boho sea changers. These locals never left, but have been joined by forward-thinking restaurateurs, designers, and celebrities. In this serene setting, you can surf in the morning while watching the sun rise over the most easterly point in Australia, practice yoga by the sand, sip oatmeal lattes, then kick back at the pub with live music from some of the country's top musicians. These same musicians headline the region's epic festivals and markets, which transform the town into a hive of activity, radiating outward to surrounding villages. From Ballina to Lennox Head, Mullumbimby, and beyond. Then there are the endless regional markets. You'll find one on every weekend, and most weekdays as well. The Byron Farmers Markets is held every Thursday, the Flea Market the second Saturday of every month, and the Community Market, with more than 300 stalls, the first Sunday of the month. With average summer temperatures of 21 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, and average winter temperatures of 15 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius. Both locals and visitors are able to enjoy plenty of outdoor activities, including the many festivals throughout the year. Byron Shire has a population of close to 30,000, while the town of Byron Bay has a population of about 9,000. Byron Bay is located just off the Pacific Highway, 800 kilometers north of Sydney, 175 kilometers south of Brisbane. Airports are located in Ballina or Coolangatta, and buses arrive regularly. Fremantle, Australia's top tourism town 2025, has a way of drawing you in and making you want to stay forever. Its charm is found in narrow streets lined with historic buildings, a seagull-scattered port bobbing with fishing boats, one-off shops, unconventional breweries and quirky buskers. It can be reached from central Perth via a 25-minute train ride or half-hour drive along Stirling Highway. Freo, as the locals call it, has a history as colorful as its buzzing markets. In days gone by, convicts, bushrangers, prison escapees and sailors frequented the postcode, and since 1897, hundreds of tiny stalls run by artists, makers and growers have clustered within the Fremantle Market's limestone walls. This DNA has resulted in a creative, independently minded population. Sign up for a walking tour to hear about the port town's characterful past and present. Fremantle is a city that spearheaded the Australian craft beer revolution. So settle in for a classic fish and chip lunch and a pint or two of pale ale or small batch beer at one of the many microbreweries, pubs or restaurants. Don't forget that in Fremantle, life's a beach. Swim and scrunch the sand between your toes, snorkel or windsurf. When things get too hot to handle, the Freo doctor has your back. Yamba is a waterfront community voted as the best town in Australia. It is quickly becoming a favorite destination for locals and tourists, offering great beaches, surf spots, fine dining, and a relaxed village charm. Yamba allows weary travelers to relax and have peace and quiet in the comfort of Mother Nature's embrace. The warm, sunshiny weather perfectly complement the pristine beaches and laid-back lifestyle everyone has grown to love. Travel experts and weather scientists say Yamba has one of the world's best year-round temperate climates. With long, warm summers and cool winters, everyone will surely find enjoyable. Yamba is known for its warm hospitality, with friendly locals welcoming visitors to this charming paradise at the mouth of the Clarence River. White sand beaches and uninhabited islands and coves await guests in a backdrop of pristine nature parks, oftentimes called the best parks in New South Wales. The coastlines are mesmerizing and ideal for long walks, with the gentle Pacific breeze wafting all day, relaxing the mind and spirit. Obviously, Yamba attracts surfers, but what's also nice about this town is that you don't feel like you're constantly walking into a photo shoot, as it can feel like walking down the street in Byron Bay. Yamba hasn't been taken over with high-rises, big resorts, or fast food places, which is down to the locals protecting it over the years. A 5-hour drive from Perth along Western Australia's captivating southern coastline is Misery Beach, recently crowned Australia's best beach by Tourism Australia's beach ambassador Brad Farmer. It's posited that the beach was named because of the area's historic whaling industry. With the whaling station less than a kilometer down the coast, offal and blood would wash onto shore and stain both the water and sands red, as well as attract sharks. Luckily, this hasn't been a problem since the station ceased operation in 1978, and the beach has since become a favorite for local and visitors. For the Menang people, the beach was a prime location for spearfishing and camping, as well as for catching kangaroos. At 200 meters long, this compact stretch of beach is utterly compelling, offering the opportunity to experience a range of outdoor activities while surrounded by stunning natural beauty. Swim, surf, or snorkel, clear turquoise waters, or spend the afternoon fishing. Laze on pristine white sands, shielded by a dramatic granite backdrop, or explore this secluded sanctuary on a barefoot beach walk. For an unforgettable start to your day, set off early to witness sunrise with the sky painted in soft pastel shades. Then, as Frenchman Bay Road turns into a gravel pathway, you'll see magical Misery Beach unfurling ahead. The beach isn't patrolled by any lifeguards, so make sure to swim within your abilities. While there's a nearby car park, only a few minutes walk from the beach, bear in mind that the trail is unsealed and has numerous steps. As the capital of Queensland, known as the Land of Sunshine, Brisbane has made an impression on international visitors thanks to its pleasant climate, unique culture, and unique experiences that cannot be found anywhere else. In addition, Brisbane has been honored many times in the list of most livable cities in the world. Brisbane is known as the Sunny City, with about 283 sunny days a year. The city has a subtropical climate, with warm but not too hot summers and cool winters that rarely drop below 10 degrees Celsius. Thanks to this ideal weather, visitors can easily participate in outdoor activities all year round without being limited by the weather like many other cities. Lying across the gentle Brisbane River, Story Bridge is not only a prominent architectural symbol of the city, but also one of the rare bridges in the world that allows visitors to climb to the top to enjoy the view. The journey to conquer the bridge lasts about 2 hours, including safety instructions, protective equipment, and climbing along a specialized path, leading to the top of the bridge 74 meters above the water surface. To be able to remember the best impressions of their trip to Australia, tourists should not miss the unique cuisine, in addition to visiting famous places. You can choose some typical dishes of Brisbane City, such as lamington, Vegemite, beetroot hamburger, fresh seafood. Tourists can enjoy food at restaurants and eateries on the way to visit. Scattered like emeralds on aquamarine velvet, the Whitsunday Islands are one of Australia's loveliest destinations, an unmatched playground for boaters, divers, campers, fishers, and resort loungers. Sheltered by the Great Barrier Reef, these warm, rarely ruffled waters are particularly perfect for sailing, as exploited by the 100-plus yachts that gather here each August for Eyre Beach Race Week. Traditional home of the Ngaro people, these 74 islands also shelter some of the oldest archaeological sites on Australia's east coast. 5 of them have resorts, but most are uninhabited, and several offer back-to-nature beach camping and bushwalking. Whitehaven Beach on Whitsunday Island is acknowledged as the finest beach in the Whitsundays, while mainland hub Airlie Beach, the major gateway to the islands, offers a wealth of tours and activities, plenty of eating and sleeping choices, and a hard partying backpacker scene. Unlike southern Australia, winter in the Whitsundays is near perfect. Sunshine is plentiful, rain is minimal, and daytime temperatures are warm enough for t-shirts and shorts. It can feel cool at night, and when you're out sailing where wind chill is at play. So pack a sweater and some long pants. Winter is generally the best time to experience all the Whitsundays has to offer. The water visibility is excellent for snorkeling and diving due to low rainfall, and you may also get the chance to see humpback whales between July and September during their annual migration from Antarctica.
Locally pronounced Cairns, Cairns is probably the most chilled-out city you'll visit in Australia. But to call it a city gives an impression of somewhere bustling and busy, yet it's neither of those things. It is, in fact, more chilled out than a hog on a roast, and it often feels like one too, thanks to its year-round tropical climate. This is why many people who first visit Cairns, particularly those unfamiliar with remote Queensland towns, may think it's got a slightly weird vibe, for want of a better word. The only rush hour you'll find here are people waiting to board reef trips. However, when you start getting on Cairns time and spend more time here, you'll discover that it's actually quite charming, wonderfully unpretentious, and in perpetual holiday mode. A focal point for the city, in the warmer weather, is the Cairns Esplanade. Almost 2 kilometers of landscaped parkland fringes, a busy thoroughfare and restaurant strip on one side, and a natural harbor inlet on the other. Relax on golden sand, or try your hand at surfing. There are a couple of little things to be aware of in the area though: stingers and crocodiles. Stingers are typically found in tropical waters from around November to May. city is famous not only for its strategic location on the Timor coast, but also for its perfect combination of unspoiled natural beauty and cultural diversity. Founded in 1869, Darwin has experienced many important historical events. The city was at the center of the gold rush, and during the Second World War, Darwin played an important role in Australia's defense strategy. After suffering fierce Japanese air raids and being almost completely destroyed by Cyclone Tracy in 1974, Darwin has strongly recovered and developed into a modern, vibrant city that still retains its unspoiled natural beauty. Darwin has had a bit of a turbulent history. The city was bombed extensively during the Second World War and was razed to the ground by Cyclone Tracy on Christmas Day, 1974. But it hasn't affected the city's spirit. You'll always be met with a smile in Darwin. In Darwin, visitors can easily access Aboriginal culture through artworks and exhibitions at galleries, such as the Gallery of Modern Art. Indigenous Aboriginal artists express their traditional stories, customs, and beliefs through sculptures, paintings, and textiles, helping visitors understand more about their history and cultural values. The Mendel Beach sunset markets are a must-do for locals and tourists alike. Held on Thursdays and Sundays between May and October at Mendel Beach, they're the perfect place for visitors to sample the cuisine and check out the local arts and crafts. Shelly Beach and neighboring Silver Sands are renowned for their unique beauty, with the prominent green slopes of Shelly's Hill Range reaching towards the Gulf St. Vincent and down onto the pristine sandy beach. Before the British colonization of South Australia, the Shelly Beach area, along with most of the Adelaide Plains area and down the western side of the Eyre Peninsula, was inhabited by the Kuranda people. The name originated in 1925 as a subdivision of part of Section 665 of the cadastral unit of the Hundred of Wollongong, called Shelly Beach Estate, which was developed by George and Robert Herrick, two farmers who lived at Aldinga. Shelly Beach is also one of the few spots where parking is allowed on the sand, and it is as popular with families for its safe swimming as it is with surf fishermen. There are good boat launching facilities and excellent windsurfing when offshore winds prevail. For a bite to eat, the historic Victory Hotel has commanding views over the area and has been delighting travelers for years. Whilst the newly renovated Silver Sands Beach Club is a must-visit for unrivaled beach views. Just south of Shelly Beach, you're sure to spot the 18-meter-tall statue of the Buddha goddess at the Nan Hai Pu Tuo Temple of Australia site. While the temple itself is still under construction, visitors are invited to marvel at the statue, meander around the surrounding gardens, and take in the unmatched ocean views. Waves decrease from about 1 meter to less than half a meter, and the beach transforms from a continuous bar with a 50-meter wide surf zone to a sheltered reflective beach used to launch boats. Wylie Bay continues to curve round from the rock outcrop for 1.3 kilometers to the lee of Wylie Head, where it faces east. In addition, in the southern corner, there is a large boulder just north of the southern tip of the beach, and seagrass debris often accumulates on the high tide beach. Behind the two beaches lies a dynamic landscape of active blowouts, stretching up to 2 kilometers inland, followed by lush Holocene parabolic dunes extending as far as 5 kilometers. Further inland, vast vegetated Pleistocene transgressive dunes rise 60 to 80 meters high and stretch up to 35 kilometers westward, reaching Rossiter Bay and beyond. Many of the inner dunes were reactivated during the glacial maxima and have a more westerly orientation together with numerous water-filled deflation hollows. The entire system covers an area of about 350 square kilometers and surrounds some of the inner granite peaks. Wylie Bay's waves attract surfers to ride the swell, and the nearby cliffs and Wylie Bay sand dunes beckon with scenic hikes and breathtaking vistas. As the sun sets, the bay becomes a canvas of colors, perfect for reflecting on Western Australia's natural beauty. From Caloundra to Deception Bay, the Pumicestone Passage is a 35-kilometer ecological marvel. The channel was originally shown as Pumicestone River on the maps of Matthew Flinders, as he found an abundance of pumice stone lining the shoreline. He was the first European explorer to enter Moreton Bay in 1799 on the sloop H.M. Norfolk, and spent 2 weeks exploring the bay and surrounds and naming Point Skirmish and Pumicestone River. Part of the Moreton Bay Marine Park and home to the oldest registered fish habitat, the passage is one of Australia's most important bird and marine habitats. Populations of dolphins, turtles, fish, and even birds are found among the waters of Pumice Stone Passage, with dugongs reported year-round, despite the winter water temperature that usually causes them to migrate. Pumice Stone Passage is home to about 1,500 resident shorebirds of 11 species and nearly 20,000 migratory shorebirds of 24 species, making the area a birdwatcher's delight. It is also a great destination for all fishing enthusiasts, whether throwing a line from the shore or a boat. Don't forget to bring your waterproof camera, because you'll want to capture the Instagram-worthy views of the sandbars and crystal-clear waters at the tip of Bribby Island and the Caloundra Bar. Hiring a paddleboard, kayak, or jet ski, or taking a guided tour is easy with local experts. Golden Beach Hire, Bill's Boat and Bike Hire, Caloundra Jet Ski, Ocean Adventure, or Experientia Sunshine Coast. However, this place is often forgotten by tourists, or called the 20-minute city, meaning a boring, quiet place with not many places to visit. Adelaide, Australia, is the capital of South Australia and the 5th largest city in the country. In fact, Adelaide is one of the most livable places in the world and the greenest city in Australia. Nearly half of the energy used in Adelaide comes from renewable energy. Even public transport such as buses run on solar energy. So when traveling to Adelaide, you can freely use lights and air conditioning without fear of causing environmental pollution. In 2016, Adelaide, Australia even had a day with absolutely no greenhouse gas emissions. You will love the sun and sand on the pristine beaches that stretch for 70 kilometers along the beautiful coast of Adelaide. You can take the tram to one of Adelaide's most famous beaches, Glenelg, to watch the beautiful sunset. Or plan to explore the towns of Victor Harbor, Port Elliot, and Goolwa on the Fleurieu Peninsula on the weekend with friends.
It only takes about 30 minutes to drive from Adelaide to one of Australia's most beautiful peninsulas, the Fleurieu Peninsula. This island still retains its inherent wildness, with vast countryside scenery, ripe vineyards in the sun, endless white sand beaches, and blue sea with murmuring waves. When coming here, you can participate in activities on the sea, such as swimming, surfing, fishing, and whale watching in winter days at Deep Creek and Newland Head conservation parks. Besides, you can also visit the gallery about the process of making McLaren Vale wine flavor. Port Douglas occupies one of the most photogenic settings in Australia, sandwiched between the tropical rainforest of the Daintree and the outer stretches of the Great Barrier Reef. The town has reinvented itself many times since its first incarnation as a gold mining hub in the 1870s. But despite the development that has sprung up since the 1970s, it retains a mellow, sleepy fishing village ambiance. Port Douglas has rich cultural significance, particularly for the indigenous Kuku-Yalanji people. The town is home to several sites with great cultural and spiritual importance to the community. You'll find a quietly sophisticated, low-rise settlement with several good waterside alfresco restaurants on the marina. The tree-shaded main street preserves some of its 19th century wooden facades and is lined with a miscellany of beachwear boutiques, ice cream stands, and coffee shops. You share the path with pushchairs, professionals, and honeymooners. The town doesn't really attract a hedonistic, party-loving crowd, and as such has a relaxed, languid atmosphere. Looking to the future, Port Douglas is poised for continued growth and success as a tourist destination. The local community is dedicated to preserving the town's history and cultural heritage while embracing innovation and progress. One of the most significant challenges facing Port Douglas is balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability. As a coastal town, the impact of climate change and rising sea levels is a concern.
The local government and community are working to address these issues, focusing on responsible tourism and sustainable development. Everyone has a dream. Jose Peranella's dream became a reality. He even harnessed the waterfall for his electricity. Peranella Park opened to the public in 1935. Today, visitors to the park marvel at the achievements of one man. Admission to Peranella Park is valid for 24 months and covers both the tours. There is a 35-minute guided walk that explains the extraordinary story and takes you through the highlights of the park, as well as the stunning Darkness Falls tour, where the castles and waterfall are floodlit to allow for amazing photo opportunities. Visitors to Peranella Park are immediately struck by the immense natural beauty of the park. The 5 hectares of land feature 2 cascading waterfalls, exotic rainforest plants, and majestic trees of the forest. Guests can explore the enchanting grounds through a series of winding paths and bridges that snake through the forest and castle ruins. Peranella Park has a distinct architectural design and layout, and the undulating paths and bridges are organized in a 5-ways design. Palinup Beach is the western extension of beaches WA 324 and 325, commencing as the beach rock creases. The sandy 2.2-kilometer-long beach curves increasingly to the south and blocks the mouth of Beaufort Inlet, a 400-hectare lagoon that is fed by the Palinup River. The beach terminates at the base of scarped vegetated 20-meter-high bluffs, adjacent to the northern rocks of Groper Bluff. Waves average 1 meter in the north, decreasing to the south, as a 50-meter-wide bar, cut by occasional rips, gives way to a continuous low-tide terrace. The beach is backed by the low, overwashed inlet mouth, then the bluffs, with vehicle access to either side of the mouth, and several shacks located towards the southern end of the beach. Groper Bluff is a 50-meter-high, 1-kilometer-long south-facing gneiss headland, with 4 kilometers of generally east-facing steep rocky shore lying between the bluff and the southern end of Palinup Beach.
5 small rock-controlled beaches are located along this section, with vehicle access to 2 of the beaches. Palana Beach is very exposed, with soft sand. Most people camp along Palana Estuary, where the area is protected from the strong winds and the tracks are harder. It is a nice place to go fishing, bird watching, or just relaxing. Popular with locals, but otherwise, it is a quiet area. It is a free camp with absolutely no facilities. You can bring your dog, and some people take camper trailers, but you would need to be an experienced 4-wheel driver to do that. Narrabeen Beach is the longest and most popular swimming beach in Provelli. Connection to community is the human attraction of Narrabeen Beach. There is a jetty for fishing and boat launching, a pontoon in summer, and dog walking along the cliff trail through the winter. Join in the daily meeting of ocean swimmers at resident White Elephant Beach Cafe all year round. Environmentally, this same sense of inclusivity is realized by ocean waters so blue and calm that it sometimes feels like a dip. Here is an experience of the world's largest swimming pool. An outer reef breaks the force of the swell. The inlet cradled between Marmaduke Point and the jetty is an ocean lover's nursery. This is the site of children's summer ocean swim classes, after-school jetty jumps. The beach itself tends to have much smaller waves than elsewhere in Provelli, but tips steeply into the ocean. If you're looking for that iconic Margaret River beach feel, this is the place. Watch the white-capped waves get whipped by the wind. The public boat ramp offers access to the Indian Ocean. Please observe local signs and regulations. The beach curves along the coast all the way to the Surfers Point headland, at its northern end, where it merges with Provelli Beach.
Geelong is a city on the move. The traditional owners of the land on which Geelong sits are the Wadawurrung Aboriginal people of the Kulin Nation. The modern name of Geelong, first recorded in 1827, was derived from the local Wadawurrung name for the region, Geelong, thought to mean land, cliffs, or tongue of land or peninsula. The area was first surveyed by the European settlers in 1838, 3 weeks after Melbourne. During the 1852nd Victorian gold rush, Geelong experienced a brief boom as the main port to the goldfields of central Victoria. The town then diversified into manufacturing, and during the 1862 became one of the largest manufacturing centres in Australia, with its wool mills, rope works, and paper mills. During the city's early years, inhabitants of Geelong were often called Geelongites or Pivotonians, derived from the city's nickname of the Pivot, referring to the city's role as a shipping and rail hub for Ballarat and the Western District. Get a dose of sunshine with a stroll along the waterfront, taking in public artworks, landscaped gardens, ice cream parlors, and eateries. Cool off in the Art Deco-style pool and kick back in the promenade complex and restored pavilion at Eastern Beach. Sign up for an eco-adventure tour. Use it as a base to explore the famous Geelong wine region, or take your pick from a wide range of adrenaline-charged activities. Take full advantage of Geelong's unique north-facing bay at fabulous waterfront restaurants and cafes, from Cunningham Pier to Eastern Beach. Grab a bite to eat on Pakington Street and visit delicatessens and wine merchants for some take-home goodies. It has an area of 90,758 square kilometers, located 240 kilometers off the southeast of Australia. There are 334 other islands that lie just off Tasmania, ranging from rocky outcrops to 3 sizable, inhabited islands. Want to visit one? Join on the Flinders Island walking adventure and explore the island's rolling green pastures, abundant wildlife, and bird life. At least 1/5 of Tasmania is a World Heritage Area, The area, which covers 1.58 million hectares, includes national parks, marine, and forests reserves. This means that 20% of the land is a World Heritage Area, which extends far south of Tasmania to the Cradle Mountain in northwest, and many of the remote destinations that are untouched and unspoilt are only accessible by foot. Mount Asa is located in the heart of Cradle Mountain and Lake St. Clair National Park, and stands tall at 1,617 meters. Trekkers can summit Mount Asa while on the overland track and be rewarded with 360-degree views of Tasmania's northwest. Tasmania has a never-ending display of wonderful nature, from beautiful islands to spectacular wildness and stunning coastlines. Tasmania shares the same latitude as Mediterranean cities like Barcelona and Rome, but in the southern hemisphere. The surrounding oceans give Tasmania a moderate climate without the scorching heat of many parts of Australia or the deep freeze winters that affect northern hemisphere countries. Though sometimes it can seem as if we get 4 seasons in one day, Tasmania has 4 distinct seasons, which means there are beautiful and striking visual contrasts in the natural environment as one season transitions to the next. The Great Ocean Road, stretching over 240 kilometers along the southern coast of Victoria, is a historic and national icon of Australia. Built by more than 3,000 veterans of the First World War between March 1922 and November 1932, the road is not only an engineering marvel, but also a monument to the fallen soldiers. Around 3,000 ex-soldiers helped build the South Coast Road, and it wasn't easy. They worked on rough terrain, through treacherous weather, and on rocky cliff sides. Unsurprisingly, a few soldiers died during construction. Using tools such as explosives, picks, and shovels, they carved the road into the cliffside, camping in the bush as they went. The Great Ocean Road was started with the goal of creating jobs for veterans and boosting the economy through expanded trade and tourism. Over the course of 10 years, soldiers used rudimentary tools such as picks, shovels, and wheelbarrows to build the road because they were fed up with the noise from industrial construction equipment. Today, the Great Ocean Road is an important Australian National Heritage Site and memorial. The route starts in Torquay, about 100 kilometers from Melbourne, and ends in Allansford, passing through some of Victoria's most stunning landscapes. Australia is more than just a destination, it's a world of breathtaking contrasts and unforgettable experiences. From ancient Aboriginal heritage to modern cosmopolitan cities, every corner of the country tells a unique story. Its majestic landscapes, friendly locals, and vibrant wildlife make it a paradise for both adventure seekers and nature lovers. Whether you're diving into the Great Barrier Reef or watching the sunset over Uluru, each moment feels timeless and full of wonder. Australia leaves every traveler with memories that sparkle like its endless sunshine, a land that calls you back again and again.